10 years ago, Nigeria didn't receive me. Senegal arrested my son and Lou Myers and Akbar for even mentioning my name in the airport. I was persona non grata because of CIA disinformation. I want you to listen. While I was on this world tour, it crystallized for me that it was Libya and Muammar Gaddafi that they were going to make war on. And I changed my trip, sent my family home, and flew to Libya in direct contravention of what President Reagan had issued in an executive order that banned all Americans from doing business with or traveling to Libya. But I went. And I met with the government in Libya and recited to them my experience on the wheel and told them America was going to bomb them.
Right. That's right. Right.
They ran out of my hotel room and told Muammar Gaddafi. And he sent word to me that he wanted me to speak. 86 nations had gathered in Tripoli, and he wanted me to speak and introduce him. And I recited my vision now publicly and called on Reagan and Secretary of State George Shultz to cease and desist what they were about to do. Meanwhile, an aircraft carrier, an American aircraft carrier, had already entered into the Gulf of Sidra. And an American jet had penetrated Libyan airspace and was shot down while I was in Libya. I knew that the war was on. I wondered why no further activity took place. A few more days passed, and my time in Libya was up, and I went to Saudi Arabia. When I got to Arabia, I read in the Saudi Gazette a bright, shiny object seen over the Mediterranean. And I called Brother Jabril Muhammad in Phoenix and told him that the wheel is here. And the wheel had followed me, not only in Libya, but everywhere I went, even accompanied me on my way back into the country. And the government don't know to this day how I got back in America. Now you can take it or leave it. I'm not trying to impress you, but to express something to you that God is real, man. And he's not a punk. You don't have a milquetoast God that won't kill his enemies or yours. See, all the playing with God is over. You will no longer play with God, play with Jesus, play with Muhammad, play with religion without paying a price. This is not a business where you preach Jesus for money, preach God for money. It's over. It's over. Now look. In 1987, I'm flying on an airplane, picked up the New York Times magazine section, bold headline, America plans war with Libya. This is 87 now, 2 years after the vision. I look in the writing, and in the writing, the exact words Elijah Muhammad spoke to me right there in the paper. It said in early September 1985, Ronald Reagan met with the Joint Chiefs of Staff to plan a war against Libya. It went further to say America approached the Egyptian ambassador to the east of Libya that he would use Egyptian troops on the ground and America would give Egypt air cover. Cowards. But the Egyptian ambassador turned them down. Once I knew that, I said, thank you, Allah. Those who thought I was crazy, and even some close to me, told me if I were you, I wouldn't say that vision publicly. Because, you know, they already think you a little touched. But if I'm commanded to do something, whether I'm laughed at or not, I have to accept that. I have to do what I'm asked to do.
America is geared towards ensuring that the black race do not realize its strength, and its uprising is gagged in a manner that they will never have a space to express their thoughts freely. And that is what Louis Farrakhan is trying to expose in this video. As you know him, he's always bold in his statements and even the speeches he gives out. And that is why today he's feeling that the black race needs to know what belongs to them and the strength they need to have. Because it is a moment of uprising. It is a moment whereby we have to say that enough is enough, and all we need is equitable share of resources. Resources that some have been taken away from the blacks forcefully. Resources that some have been robbed through imperialist acts of the United States. That is what he is exposing. And as always, he stands for the black race. So let us continue watching his videos or this video so that we talk about it at large in the end. If you're watching us for the first time, as always, do not forget to subscribe to this our channel. Let's watch.
Now, can you bear with me a few more minutes? But that wasn't the end. I thought it was the end of the vision. And guess what? I'm in Phoenix again. And I look on the television and I see Chinese tanks running over Chinese students. And I'm trying to rest, but there's some meaning in it for me and I don't understand, so I start aging. I'm not a young man, but there are times when I look youthful. Times. But when I saw those tanks rolling over those Chinese young people, I knew there was something in it, but what it was, I didn't know, and I began to age. Right after that, Mickey Leland, our congressman from Texas, died in an airplane crash in Ethiopia. Now, everybody that looks like they can hook us up to Africa, something happens to them. Whitney Young dies in some strange accident in Africa. Malcolm poisoned in Africa. Mickey Leland died in Africa. And Ron Brown, who after Clinton's time was up, if Ron Brown had lived, Ron Brown with his wisdom of commerce could have hooked black and Hispanic along with other business people into the markets of Africa and Asia. That man gave us a great future. Gone. I go back to Chicago, and in September, I get a phone call. A sister says, "Congratulations on your anniversary." And I said, anniversary? I said, oh yeah, my wife and I just celebrated our 38th wedding anniversary. And the sister said, no, the anniversary of your vision. In the meantime, you young brothers, Bloods, Crips, see, your stuff was beginning to rage now. And they were writing about you in Time magazine and the various newspapers, the black and Hispanic gangs and, So it was clear to me then, that vision or experience, Gaddafi and Libya, was a sign of a Muslim leader and an attempted assassination that would happen. And a small Muslim nation that was a thorn in the side of America.
Right.
And the larger picture was black youth who are young and strong and fearless, but there's no jobs for them.
Yeah.
And they are not joining the army. So we got to deal wisely with them.
Come on.
So guns and drugs start coming into the black community. And you, young brother, who knows you want power, get a gun in your hand and you feel power. And you smoke your brother, watch him gasp out his life. You're cold and heartless. You put movies out about you, menace to society, boys in the hood, colors, and you think they are praising you, when in reality, they were setting the black community up for destruction. I want you to hear me now. All over the world, you are looked at as a savage,
Right.
as an uncaring, unloving people, unworthy of life.
Oh.
We were set up to be slaughtered. In every armory in America, there are modern weapons
Right.
ready to be used in case of some uprising in any major city. Don't you let them tell you that the police departments do not have sufficient weapons to deal with the drug boys. They are liars. So now I realize the stuff is pointing to me, to the Nation of Islam, and to you. When the Soviet Union collapsed, all their CIA agents that were working in Europe, they brought them to America to work in the hood. Now, are they there to stop gang warfare? No. They are there to facilitate it and to direct it through agents. Agents that look like us. People that you think are your own friends, your own brothers, but they're bought and paid for by our open enemies. They bring guns. And the gun runners. You've been set up now. So I started a national tour called Stop the Killing. All of that coming from this experience that I called a vision. Now it's clear to me that Gaddafi is a sign. Libya is a sign. Now I want you to check this. I'm almost finished. Brothers and sisters, I went to Mexico last January and I was sitting by the pool reading a book called The Death of the Messiah, which is Christian scholars giving an exegesis of the four Gospels. And I read a verse that I broke down and began to weep. And the verse that I read was Luke 9:51. And when I read Luke 9:51 and began to cry, I knew that the one more thing that I had to do before leaving was what I was about to do. And Luke 9:51 said, and I quote, "And Jesus set his face for Jerusalem. From thence he would be taken up." Now, I don't know what it meant to anybody else. I know what it means to me. Now, Farrakhan, are you saying you're Jesus? Let me stop here. Let me stop right here. Whether any of you know it or not, the life of Jesus, as recorded in the Bible, is the exemplary life of all revolutionaries, whether they are revolutionaries in religion, in science, in culture, in art, in medicine. They all follow the path of Jesus, whether they know it or not. What do I mean by that? Wait, listen. Garvey was not necessarily a follower of Jesus. Mao Zedong was not a follower of Jesus. Fidel Castro was not a follower of Jesus. Ho Chi Minh is not a follower of Jesus. Kim Il-sung is not a follower of Jesus. Kwame Nkrumah and Sekou Touré were not followers of Jesus. Most of them were socialists in their thinking. But whether they knew it or not, they were walking after that man. What do I mean? Jesus comes up. He has a different thought in mind. He goes to Peter. He sees him doing some work. He says, "Come follow me." Every revolutionary has to go and find the persons that agree with his new idea. And when that new idea begins to take hold, then the established idea clashes with the new idea. Then persecution, even imprisonment, even bloodshed. And either the revolutionary establishes the revolution or is killed and the revolution destroyed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. As I said before, I take this book as a roadmap. Now, some of us that are going to fulfill something from this book. Now, I want to stop right there. See, Christians, Muslims, Jews, some of you literally believe that God don't have no juice today. And that's why every time we go to church or mosque, we get in a time machine. Right. And the time machine takes us back to Abraham, back to Noah, back to Moses, back to Elijah and Elisha, back to the Jesus, back to Muhammad, as though God don't have no power to speak to you in your day, in your time, in your circumstance. If those men were prototypes of what you're going to see today, and Jesus said, the scripture says, he will pour out his spirit, and you will see the old prophets walking around, then you ain't got no business looking backward. You should be looking around for the prophetic voices of your time. And as long as you keep looking back, you're going to miss your contemporaries. People that could set your compass right so that you won't be victimized by Satan. Believe it or not, those persons that are going to fulfill, they don't have to read the book to do it. They're genetically already coded to do it. And then when they turn around and look, they have fulfilled it. I just be frank with you. I don't have to read no book. The book is in me. I'm born to fulfill the book. You can take it or leave it. I'm already doing it. And you are witnessing and don't even know what you're looking at. But I'm going to open your eyes by the power of God today. You're going to see what's going on. And you don't have to be afraid to open your eyes and see. Now let's see what I'm talking about. And I'll tell you who I think I am. Because it's time that you know. And then if I'm not, don't worry about it. Just another fool that's on his way to hell. But if I am, and I am, then you better be careful how you deal with me. Now let's go on. Listen. Jesus had to go to Jerusalem. Paul had to go to Rome. I had to go to Washington. I had set my face. Nothing was going to deter me. I wouldn't move out of America because I felt they would assassinate me.
Right.
So I stayed here and worked on this Day of Atonement with my brothers, Christian ministers. They didn't know all that I was seeing. It wasn't necessary for me to say it, but it is necessary now. Because we're at the end now. Look. Jesus met Martha one day. And Martha said to Jesus, Jesus, the one whom you love is dead. And he's been dead 4 days. And he's stinking. And Jesus answered, saying, he's not dead. He's just asleep. Show me where he is. Who was in the tomb? It was her brother. It wasn't a male and a female in the tomb. It was a man in the tomb. The woman was outside the tomb looking at the condition of her brother. And she knew Jesus had some juice.
That's right. Come on.
Just like you like Martha. Martha was a little different from Mary. She was a firebrand.
Right.
And you, black woman, you know something wrong with your man.
Right.
Wait a minute. Let's talk facts now. All of our women are hurting, brother. All of our women are suffering, brother. And they're hurting and they're suffering because we are not what God created us to be. We look the part, but we are not living the part. And therefore our women are unfulfilled, hurting, anxious, suffering. So when they heard that I was going around the country talking to black men, they would bring their brothers, bring their uncles, bring them to the door and say, go in. Get on in there. And when I made a call, the sister, like Martha, she said, you going. She got her money together, told her son, get on the bus.
That's right.
Gus, get on the plane. Get on the train. But you go. And then many of these brothers don't even know why they went. They just got up and said, I gotta be there.
That's right.
You don't know what reason, because you didn't know me that much, or some of you did, but you knew you had to be there.
That's right.
What was that moving you?
Come on.
See, when Lazarus was in that tomb, Jesus went to the tomb, and all he said was, Lazarus, come forth. Lazarus heard the call, and he came forth. And when he came forth, he had a napkin over his eyes, hand bound, feet bound. Look at the words of Jesus. See, he comes in the tradition of Moses. He said, I don't come to change the law. I come to fulfill what's written in the law. Moses told Pharaoh, let my people go. Jesus calls Lazarus. And then he said, Satan called him out.
Come on.
Satan, loose him.
Come on.
And let him go. Now, if Jesus didn't have juice, if Jesus didn't have power, if Jesus was not the new God and the new master, he couldn't say to Satan, loose him, and Satan obey. But Satan loosed Lazarus. And Lazarus became a witness for Jesus. And the fame of Jesus spread throughout the world.
That's right. That's right.
Now Jesus getting ready to go to Jerusalem. He needs a vehicle. So he tells his disciples, go there, you'll see an ass and a colt tied with her. Untie them and bring them to me. And if anybody question you, call you a thief, in other words. Tell them, no, the master has need of this.
That's right.
Jesus then gets on the ass and he rides the ass into Jerusalem. When he gets to Jerusalem, the people start throwing palms at his feet. And they start saying, Hosanna. Because all the people were looking for the Messiah. Jesus never told them who he was.
That's right.
He just did a work in the midst of them, and they were watching it, but they didn't know what it was because the light was shining in the darkness, but the darkness couldn't comprehend it. Listen, man, listen. And so, Jesus is being looked at as a Messiah. And the Jews were standing by talking. Now, I didn't write the Bible, Reverend. You didn't write. But it said the Jews were talking. They were Jesus' enemies. And they said, we've done everything we could to stop this man. But he's still successful. They said, if we don't stop him now, the whole world will go after him. So from that moment, his death was planned. Now you hear me? They feared to take him because they feared the people. The people were with him, but they had to turn the people against him. Then they could take him. Now, Farrakhan ain't got no power to call you. In the Holy Quran, there's a picture that God gives of the resurrection. And he tells Abraham to take 4 birds, place the 4 birds on 4 mountains, and then stand and call the birds. And when you call the birds and they land in your hand, that is the sign of the resurrection of the dead. The resurrection of the dead is not talking about a cemetery. It's talking about the grave of ignorance in which human beings have fallen asleep in the dust of the earth. I want you to hear me, man. You're not a living people. You're dead, man. You're living. Your spirit, the essence of you, is trapped in your flesh. So you serve the God of your appetites and give lip service to the God of the Spirit. Hear me now. Come on. Can I walk a little bit? Yes, sir. Yeah. I gotta kind of walk a little bit. Brothers, anytime a car, an alligator shoe, and diamond rings, and gold hubcaps, and Nike shoes, and designer jeans mean more to you than human life, then your soul and your spirit is trapped in the flesh. And since the flesh is of the earth, then your spirit is buried in the earth. You understand? And that's why the second Adam is a quickening spirit. Because the second Adam speaks to the God within that is troubled by the devil within. And he rebukes Satan and casts him out so that the spirit, the power of the human being, can rise out of the grave and become master of what has mastered him. Look at you. Sex is your God. Brother running around with his sex organ in his hand. Sister can't put on decent clothes because you got to show your behind for some fool to look at your backside and want you. What you see is what you get. You don't bring your behind to church. You bring your mind to church and cover your behind so that the church can come in your mind. I want you to hear me, black woman. This is no fashion show. You become like dogs, animals, and worse. Because a dog has more care for her pups than you have for your own children. Because you just go and lay down in heat and have babies by accident and let somebody else care for them. You need to be resurrected from your grave. And when Jesus called Lazarus, he started coming. When Abraham called the 4 birds, they started flying. He didn't create the birds. He didn't create his own voice. He was not the author of the call. He was directed to call. And the birds came. I was directed to call you. I called for 1 million. 2 million came. You came up out of your tomb. And because you responded to a call from me like no black man ever since we were in America, you responded. Your enemies became terrified because it was a sign of the resurrection of the masses, which means the end of the powers that have crushed the masses of the people, black and brown and red and yellow and white. So my fame went throughout the earth. And the Jews began talking. There was a column in the New York Times. I invited them to dialogue. They said no. An argument raged, and in the New York Times, one Jew was quoted as saying, "We've done everything we can to stop him, and nothing we have done has succeeded. We ought to sit down and dialogue with him." And the other Jew said, "Never. Never." Well, now we went to Africa. We went to Ghana, Libya, Liberia, Senegal, the Gambia, Zaire, South Africa, Mozambique, Nigeria, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Malaysia, and then home. Wait. When I went to Libya, here's what I said to Gaddafi. I said, "Brother Gaddafi, do you remember the vision that I quoted to you 10 years ago? I said, you were a sign of what the government is planning to do to me today. I said, God has put you and me together. I said, you for Africa and me for America. It is your duty to support me." He promised not just $1 billion. He promised the wealth of Libya to back the Nation of Islam. No, wait. I didn't ask him for nothing. He called me and told me what he was going to do. So naturally, I checked in to see. Now look here. Here's America cutting off welfare. Here's America we fought for, bled for, died for. No more affirmative action. We ain't giving you a break. Cutting off entitlements. Living under railroad trestles and in cardboard boxes. Homeless blacks. Homeless whites. Homeless people who have helped to make America great. If Gaddafi wants to give me some money, what you mean? Of course I'm gonna take it. Of course I'm gonna take it. Brother Gaddafi can't be my guide. God is. But what can we do with $1 billion? Let's think for a minute. Reverend, look, if we sat down with $1 billion, let's see. First thing, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that land is the basis of independence. America has millions of acres of land, government land that belongs to the people. Well, we the people. Why don't you sell us some, or lease us some, or give us some? Since you promised us 40 acres and a mule, and you didn't give us the acres or the mule, it's time to collect now, brothers. $1 billion. We got to sit down with the manufacturers of heavy equipment, because if we farm, get into agribusiness, like Joseph mastered the grain house. Well, what is the grain house in this Egypt? It's Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Illinois, Missouri. Farmers getting flooded and getting tired. See, but the God we serve makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. So we go to the farmers and give them a good price and buy the grain land. Go down in the deep south and buy the land, grow cotton, get a lot of money for cotton these days. Well, hell, we don't have to pick it no more. We buy the machine to pick it. Turn the cotton into lint, turn the lint into cloth, and then set up factories where we begin to manufacture beautiful suits. I ain't got to wear these Italian cuts. Dress you up, sisters. Not in them tight, crazy garments, but flowing robes that make you look like the queen that you are. Look at what we can do. If we produce food and set up food processing plants and put warehouses in the major areas and set up supermarkets, ain't no use in getting angry with the Koreans or getting angry with the Arabs. No. If you're not providing goods and services for yourself, somebody's going to do it. Well, now you waking up, then all you got to do is put your supermarkets. And of course, the Reverend Chip Murray and all of us reverends, we're going to tell our congregation, buy from yourself. Then we put our people to work in the warehouse, driving the trucks from the farms, bringing the produce, working in the food processing plant. And since we are not merchants of debt, then we begin to feed the American people wholesome beef. Not mad cows, but wholesome beef, wholesome chicken, wholesome lamb, wholesome food. We already mad enough. We don't need no mad cow, brother. Now, beloved, look at the hope you could buy up some banks and start a national chain of banks. And then tell your people, take your money out the white folks' banks that ain't doing nothing for you, and put your money in your own banks. Buy up television station. See, you can take $1 billion and leverage it. You know what you're doing. Then let's take a walk over to Mr. General Motors. And let's sit down with Mr. Motors. Hello, Mr. Motors. Mr. Motors, we black folk buy more Buicks, Cadillacs, and General Motors products. We're only 12% of the population, but we buy more than white folks. Now, we appreciate you putting Michael Jordan in a Chevy and giving him some money. We like that. But that ain't helping us. So here's what we want you to do. We got some money here. We want to go into partnership with you, Mr. Motors. And we want you to open up a factory, several of them, so we can manufacture some of the parts on the cars that we buy. And then if they say no, then we say we ain't buying no more General Motors products. And I bet you they'll come across, brother and sister. You hear me? You're not working because you're not in unity. Now let's go to Mr. Coke. No, wait. Coca-Cola. Hey, Mr. Coke. Coca-Cola. Mr. Coca-Cola, we'll drink a lot of your stuff. We want to go into business with you. We want you to put some bottling companies in the major cities of America so we can put our people to work in a joint venture. Let me tell you something, brother and sister. You ain't got nothing because you ain't asking. You're not demanding, and you're not using your power to bring it. All we need is a little startup, because we got $450 billion already in our hand from the American economy. And if we just get started and start telling our people what to do, they want to get orders. Oh, we're going to accept the money. The government said they want me to register as a foreign agent. A registered foreign agent. I said, no, sir. I'm not no foreign agent. The only foreign power I'm an agent of is God, and He's very foreign to you. So now I think we should close. Nigeria, Sudan, Iran, Iraq. It hurts me to see the Sudanese people being labeled as terrorists because they may harbor some people there that are accused of attempting on the life of President Mubarak. Here's a government that we live in has not attempted but killed many leaders. She's not a terrorist. She just turned her back on Israel while Perez bombed Libya, Lebanon. They say it was a war. It wasn't no war. Lebanon wasn't fighting back. What do you call a little rocket dropping here or dropping there? That's not war. But land, sea, and air. And do you know why they did it? Because an election is coming up in Israel. And America and Clinton has linked his political future to the peace process in Bosnia and the peace process in the Middle East. And ever since the death of Yitzhak Rabin and the Hezbollah suicide bombings, the stock of Perez was going down, and the stock of Benjamin Netanyahu was going up. And America does not want the Likud party or Benjamin Netanyahu to become the next prime minister, because that would endanger the peace process, he feels. So Perez has to look tough. So he drops bombs, not on Hezbollah, but on men, women, and children. And he says it was a tragic mistake. But the general in the field said it was no mistake. Somebody's lying. For 2 weeks, President Clinton didn't say nothing. He just acted like nothing was happening. You notice how he condemned Hezbollah? Called a terrorist meeting. But he would never condemn what Israel just did. And then after 2 weeks, they send Warren Christie to broker some kind of settlement. I mean, it is a very great deception. And then he promises Perez sophisticated equipment, $100 million, see, to let the Jewish people in Israel know we are backing Perez to ensure his reelection. In Russia, Boris Yeltsin is in a war with the Muslims in Chechnya. He has linked his reelection to peace with the Chechens. The Chechens say they'll fight to the last man. Boris Yeltsin is going down, and hardliner communists and nationalists are coming up to power. And America says we can't let that happen. And so they sent $1.5 billion to Yeltsin. And in the latest thug fest, he goes and embraces Yeltsin to let the Russian people know how close they are. Really something going on in this world. Now, let's wrap this up. I want everybody to be still, because this I want you to hear. The 700 Club said that Farrakhan says he's Jesus. They played tapes of me. And my words are right. Clipped to contextually fit what they intend to do to stir up the preachers against Farrakhan. I want all Christians to know that the Jesus of this book, who is at the right hand of God, on whom God has conferred all power in the heavens and in the earth, that being, I am not even worthy to unlace his shoes. I am not the Jesus. The definite article the tells us of a specific individual who is the embodiment of the word and the mission. All who are involved in the mission derive their power and their authority from the Jesus. But I hasten to tell you all, I am a Jesus. No, I want you to listen. I am a Messiah. I am a Savior. I am a deliverer and a restorer under his Messiahship. Now let's see if I'm right. How many of you that follow Jesus would say you are a little Jesus? And why can't you make that statement if you're his? Listen to me carefully now. Jesus said, I and my Father are one. He said, when you see me, who do you see? Why? Because I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Now let's look at this now. I'm coming at you for real. If Jesus is one with the Father, are you one with him? Listen. If you are one with him, then as you see the Father, when you see him, we should see Jesus when we see you. And if I shake your hand as a Christian and I don't feel Jesus, and you are a liar and a hypocrite, you don't represent that man. Let me tell you something, Christians. See, talking Jesus ain't where it's at today. Because you're not going to heaven talking about a good man. You'll go there by being like the man you talk about. I want you to hear me. I may not get back this way in a long time. I am a Jesus. Yeah? I'm walking right in his shoes. I can tell you the next step because it's already written. See, when you say you following Jesus and the Jews ain't whipping on you, I got to ask who you following. Listen to me. Listen. What kind of persecuting you getting for Jesus' name? Why aren't you being persecuted? Because you've sold out to the world. You and the world have become one, not you and Jesus. You're in the world and you're of the world. You love the world. And that's why you ain't being persecuted by the world. Jesus don't love this world. His kingdom is not of this world. And the love of this world is enmity with God. I'm not invited to the governor's mansion. It's hard for me to get an audience with a mayor. Maybe I'll find a city councilman somewhere that will meet me in the dark. But many of our leaders, you get invited by the government. Not me. I'm rejected of men and despised and hated without a cause. What reason do you have to hate me? Here's my Christian brothers. Love everybody. But that don't include me. You want to save white people, but you don't want to save me. You want to witness to the enemy, but you won't even call me. Boy, you're a hell of a preacher. Look at you, 700 Club. Black preachers attacking me backed by white ones. Who brought you into bondage? The white Christian. Who is it that robbed you of your name, your language, your culture, your religion, your God, and your sanity? Was it Farrakhan or was it them same white Christians?
I love this man, Louis Farrakhan, for one thing. His boldness, his way of expressing himself, and how he sacrifices his time, efforts, and even resources to fight for the oppressed in the society. He spends most of his time in ensuring that he gives out knowledge that is of importance to the oppressed. That is the black race. To him, the black race is still in a situation that has dire need of help, a situation that needs the indulgence of uh, everyone to ensure that the society becomes free for them. That is what Farrakhan always agitates, because he needs to create an environment where humans are equal. So today he's talking about the uprising of the black man, and he needs the blacks to fight for what belongs to them. Fight for your freedom, fight for equality in the society, equality in the healthcare system, because we still have disparity whereby black man cannot access the right healthcare as compared to the whites. Education system still has these differences. The disparities are still much and can be seen. A white man gets better education, leave alone education. Even after education, you need jobs. They are not jobs for the blacks. All they can be given is drugs that make them get addicted. So Farrakhan talks about this with a lot of energy to address such issues in the society of American state. So let us talk about it in our comment section. If you are watching us, uh, do not forget to make a subscription as always, because that is how we interact. Also, do not forget to like and share. Thank you, and may God bless you.